everyone, Mark and Joey here with the Ultimate Sports Channel, our weekly rewind. Joey, if you're new to the show, we've gone through a number of different variations with the show depending on the time of year and the things that are of interest to the sports world out there. We have been going through another one because this is our last day in Ontario, and we're pretty happy about it. We're heading down, for those of you who have never seen the show before, Joey is a 22-year-old professional golfer working his way up the PGA, and we're heading down to Myrtle Beach for a couple of months for some practice after a couple of months of like terrible weather here, and getting ready to head down to Florida for the Florida Elite Tour. Planning to play there in January and February before we look to qualify for the Canadian PGA, which is called the Mackenzie Tour, in March. So we're ready for that. But that does bring some changes to what we can actually do. You're going to be 6-7 hours on the golf course, and some of the other programs we're doing is a lot of research, especially the wagering ones, stuff like that. So Joey, we've made a change here. What are we doing now?
Yeah, so we're just going to do the weekly rewind in each sport, cover some topics that we have discovered over the week. Some of it will be about, the standings of each league, kind of going forward here as the season progresses, best players, stats, and then just interesting stories that are going on in each league, records you might not know about, players being relevant again that you might not be paying attention to because they're not on your team, and really some comeback good stories from the cities and the teams and with the work that they're doing. So we're just going to cover a little bit of everything in every sport and, catch you up on what happened.
And we're going to do this once a week on Mondays only. However, we are going to break it into segments, mostly because we're having a hard time uploading an hour and a half long show. Yeah. And so we're not getting out as quick as we'd like. So we're going to do this in the pieces. So instead of doing an hour and a half or even 2 hours, we're going to do the half hour, whatever it takes to do a subject, but each one. So the other good thing for you as a fan is you can zero in. If you like the NFL and you don't really care about much else in sports, just watch the NFL one. If you want them all, you can pick and choose when to watch them. You know exactly when you're watching them. That was some of the feedback we got on the longer show, is when does the NBA start within the hour and a half or 2 hour show. So we're going to do them all now separately. We've done this before. This is not new for us. However, we're doing them all in one day now. And this opens up the rest of the week for you as far as golf is concerned. And, and this, we can set Monday to this all the time. And it's also, Monday, let's face it, is the best. Most sports happen on the weekend. Most of the stuff to talk about is happening on the weekend. So it's great to do a Monday show. So that's what we're going to say, Monday Rewind. It's about what's happened in the past week. Also, we'll talk a little bit of how that might impact the future too. But it's really looking at what happened in the past week is what we're going to do. Now, the other key is, Joey, we're on Patreon. We're going to go another week here. You're going to explain what Patreon is. We're going to go another week here of an open show. A lot of new people are coming in, so I want to keep that happening. But what's going to happen on Patreon after next Monday?
Monday. You're going to have to go to patreon.com and create an account, and then you can subscribe to our channel. So Ultimate Sports Channel on patreon.com. It's a $5 subscription a month to see all the videos that we post throughout the entire week. Obviously, our Monday rewinds, and then throughout the week, cool sports kind of happening around the world. A lot of it dangerous sports. We find them very interesting because we'll never do them. But yes, patreon.com is very simple to use. You just go there, create a simple account, and then go to Ultimate Sports Channel and in Patreon, and then you can just pledge your $5 and subscribe for the month. And do that each month and get all the videos.
And guys, we're doing this because we don't want to have a ton of commercials. That's the one way we're going to go in the beginning, was get people to do advertising with us. And we just thought for the quality of the show and for your watching and viewing, $5 a month is not much money to get the content that we're going to bring to the channel, as well as just so people know, this is really your job. I mean, this is what you do, hopefully in raising money to support your career. This is to make that happen. So this is work. It takes lots of time and research and hours in doing the show itself and all those kinds of things. So we hope you appreciate the fact that, $5 a bonus is a good subscription price for the month. Now, in addition to that, we are offering great bonuses when you do that. And we're offering a free 3-night vacation in the U.S., 12 different locations you can choose. We're also offering a $100 restaurant gift card. So you can get this card and you can get discounts at restaurants up to $100 over times that you use it. And we're also giving you a $100 hotel savings cost where you can book hotels and you're getting the best price on the internet, plus you save more up to this $100 card. So some real bonuses, quite frankly, more money and bonuses than you would pay over 2 years for your subscription. So we hope you appreciate that. Hope you appreciate the show. And Joey, let's get going here. And I think we're going to start with the PGA, and we'll start with PGA. Then we'll do shows on the NBA, NFL, NHL, and some special features, some cool stuff happened over the weekend in other sports as well. So why don't we get started here on the PGA? Joey, we've got, let me get down on my page here one second.
Well, I know what we're going to start off with. We're going to start off with the big conversation today
There we go.
on the Golf Channel was about who will be number one at the end of this upcoming season. With Rory putting another victory out there, obviously that's very impressive. And Brooks Koepka battling injuries. DJ battled an injury this year. You know, Tiger, I don't think can ever get back to world number one because of his health. He might win more majors, more tournaments, but to be consistent enough to be world number one, very difficult. So there's a big conversation about who will be number one at the end of next year, who might be player of the year. And truly, I saw this on Golf Channel. I really wanted to get into it because I thought Rory got disrespected a little bit. Most people said they did not believe he'd be number one and he wouldn't be player of the year again. There's not a lot of faith right now in Rory McIlroy to play another great season as he did last year. He hasn't really had back-to-back years that have been solid. He's normally gotten a big year, off year, big year. Personally, I feel like he'll defend the world number one ranking that he'll get back and defend the Player of the Year award and get that too. But it'll be very interesting going forward with the health of these other golfers.
Yeah, you have to look at Joey as well. When he was doing that, he really didn't have his mind on golf. Not the same way he does now. He wants to get back to number one. He wants to win a lot of tournaments. He already won to start the year, as has Tiger. But Tiger's problem is going to be that he's not going to play enough events. Rory plays almost every week. And nobody could score like Rory. I mean, really, this guy can put birdies up. He can score. He's going to win tournaments. He won in a playoff again this time, so he's under the pressure. He can do that. I think there's a no-brainer. Matter of fact, I think he'll separate himself from Brooks. I think Brooks has got real injury problems. They're not saying much, but he's skipping events. I think that's a real reality that Rory's going to pass Brooks.
Well, I mean, there is something to be said about Player of the Year. They were talking about, you know, he's got to probably win a major this year to go back-to-back on Player of the Year. I know it's already questionable that he won it without a major. I think it'd be hard to convince guys twice in 2 years to give you the award without a major. But as far as number one player in the world, I think it's a given because of just health over anything. So he's got maybe the most talent in the world.
And he's now
got the healthiest body in the world. I mean, Schauffele is battling these flus all the time, losing weight. Justin Thomas last year had a wrist injury.
I'm going to interrupt you. Although that guy can play golf. If he can go a year without injuries, now he's a little far back to get the number one right now, but if he can go the whole year without injury, Justin Thomas can flat out score.
But there's something to the ease of Rory puts into every week, and that people forget about the world number one, how the points really work. You know, they think it's about big events. It certainly helps, but Rory plays so easily consistent and wins big enough events. It might not be majors, but, you know, a WGC event, he won the Players, he won a Canadian Open, which is still a national open in the rankings. So, you know, he easily is just too good week in, week out, where all these other guys seem like they have to put way more effort in on their body and on their swing to be as good as he is on a consistent basis. So I'm going to roll with Rory here being world number one by the end of the season.
Yeah, I'm with you. I can't question that at all. I'd love to see Tiger. He's just not going to play.
I think it's a major year for him.
And I think it's a major year. But here's what's happening in today's day and age. You know what? FedEx Cup's way harder to win. Way harder to win than a major. You just have to have a good week to win a major. I think golf is going to start to look differently on points and everything else to the FedEx Cup. I think they're going to continue to make that the premier event, the premier playoffs. And I'm going to be shocked that isn't given more relevance than it is today in the world number one. It's way harder to win the FedEx Cup and go through the whole season and win those playoffs. I think they're going to adjust the points. I think it's going to have much more relevance in the world standings. But we're going to see what happens. I think it's a no-brainer. Rory number one by the end of the year. Probably way before that, actually. Schauffele, actually one of the guys who might be in the running, again, this weekend could not get Rory. He had him. He got him to the playoff, but could not finish it.
And this is a guy that can win. He can play golf. He can go low. Rather consistent because he's straight and long. But a guy, really, the topic here is really break out in the majors because that's all that's really left for him at this stage of his career, even though he's so young. You know, he's had a World Golf Championship. He's had multi-win seasons. It's really for him, can he get to that position in a major? And, that's our question. And I truly believe, I don't think he can. I don't think there's a style of golf where he truly benefits. I think he's one of the more consistent golfers. Sometimes it's harder than having one specific skill that's so powerful. You think of guys that can win the Masters because of putting. You think guys that can win the U.S. Open because they can drive it long and straight. He's just kind of good at everything, and unfortunately good at everything a lot of times doesn't result in wins, and especially in majors that, the British Open has their thing, U.S. Open has their thing, and the Masters has their thing. He'll be a guy that is obviously always there. I hope he breaks out in a major. I still don't think it's this year, though, for me.
Well, I picked him a lot last year. I love Shoffley. I think he's a great young player. He had some health issues. He looked like he might have even had some this week too. He was a little bit off on a couple of days and stuff. So I don't know that he's even over all that. But he has talent. There is no doubt about it. Here's what I look at Shoffley, and he's way younger than Phil did it. But he needs confidence that he can do it. And I think once he gets that, he'll go out and win more often. The game is there. This guy is skilled. This guy's a really great golfer. I think we're going to see it. I think we're going to see a major this year. I'm picking myself the PGA that I think he can win.
That's definitely
I don't think he's going to win the Masters. We know the guys win the Masters. The guy hit the ball a freaking mile, so you can stop the ball on those greens.
Well, he hits it far enough. It's really, can he go with the putt? It's also experience the Masters. Not many young guys win the Masters. Besides really Jordan Spieth.
There's other guys that played it for 25 years, 20 years, 10 years.
It's been older guys. If you really look at the recent winners, like I said, besides Spieth and Reed was relatively young, was still late 20s and played it a bunch. You got Sergio, Tiger. It's still older guys for that tournament specifically. But the PGA, that is an interesting one because you never know. It could play like a regular tournament, and that's something he would obviously do well.
And I think he can win in the Open, the British Open, depending on the weather. He can hit the ball well enough to play those courses. He hits it pretty straight most of the time. The only issue there is how he would react to weather. That's my only concern about him. So, well, a lot of Americans have a challenge with that. There's no doubt about it. But I think Shoffley is right there with Rory this year. I think there's a possibility. I don't know if there's enough points. I need to look at this before I comment on it. But whether he could also pass Brooks if Brooks has an injury-plagued year into number 2. So we'll see what happens there. But I think he's a great player. I think there's no doubt
he
has a great future ahead of him. As good as anybody else because you're not chasing the major record anymore. I mean, you're chasing Roy at 4 and Spieth at 4.
Well, Brooks is 4.
That's kind of Brooks at 4. That's kind of your numbers right now. So he could be a great golfer real quick. Hey, let's look at Patrick Reed, captain's pick for the President Cup. I'm going to go first on this. No goddamn way. I mean, this guy has trashed his team. He's trashed his teammates. He's trashed the captain. How does anybody pick this guy?
Well, the captain is Tiger. Tiger does like him. I think he'll get picked. His golf game certainly says you should be picked. Another good 66 in the final round this week. Really, I think at the end of the day, you almost need to bring him back because he might start qualifying for more important events to the Americans, which is the Ryder Cup. And really, he has to build chemistry, find another partner. It's not going to be Spieth because Spieth and Thomas want to be together. But in my mind, the President's Cup is always built for the Ryder Cup, really, for the States. It's like a practice run. Right. They need to get him back in the locker room. They need him to make friends. And because they're going to need him come Ryder Cup time. I believe he will qualify based on his skill. He does bring fire to that team. So
I'll give you that. There's a little bit of you can't turn him down on the Ryder Cup because if he qualifies. But you and I are in team sports. We know what it's like in football. We know what it's like in hockey. These bad apples in the dressing room can completely take a team apart.
But it's better to bring him in now and say, hey, man, we got to figure this out. Because in the Ryder Cup, and when they won the Ryder Cup in the States, he was really the big source, taking down Rory McIlroy, really bringing the fire to that team and the energy to the city that they were playing in. He will be on another Ryder Cup team. So do you want that to be his, reinstation back on the team, or would you rather?
Here's what you do. Here's what coaches do. You treat this like Bill Belichick, which is you put him on the team and then you don't play him to the singles. You teach this guy a lesson, just like Belichick would do. There's not a player he would care about. So you know what? You bring him on. Good. I like that. Bring him on. Make him sit in the goddamn dressing room. Make him sit on the bench. Make him cheer on his teammates. After he apologizes to every one of them that he chewed out, and he chewed out his captain. What would Belichick do if a guy chewed out him? He wouldn't get rid of him.
Hey, golf.
You can do that.
Eric's not even there anymore.
Got to be on the freaking team, but you don't need to play.
Tiger's the captain.
I'm telling you, that's how you settle a guy like Patrick Reed.
And he'll play.
Think like the Patriots, man. Okay, let's look at another thing. Phil Mickelson, outside the top 50 in the world for the first time in 26 years. Well, you know what? I'm 63 years old. You just get old. It just is a fact. Phil's played some great golf in the last 2 years, but it's just a fact.
So we're going to combine two topics here. First of all, Phil falling outside the top 50, and can he still win? First, outside the top 50. It's a sad day, but 26 years, what a run, what a record. But it is a sad day because I think there's nothing more telling you that you're kind of done than something like this. Something where, obviously you have up and downs in careers, but to be going this good for this long. I mean, Tiger did it through injuries. Phil's kind of done it just through age. And, he's changed his game to try to keep up with the young guys and, has done it for many, many years. And it's just a timing thing. I don't think he'll get back in it by the end of the year. I don't think he'll stay there. He might get back in with a win at some point, but to stay there, I don't think he will. But this is obviously a great record. to know better than a guy. I mean, he's a great guy, great golfer, so he deserved this record. He deserves to be in the top 50 of the world for all those years. It's just a matter of age. Good for him. He's still been able to compete. But, yes, this is a sad moment for him.
So here's the prediction. He's not going to get inside the top 50 because it's hard to play that good every week to do that. Yeah. Phil will win one more major. I can tell you that right now. This is going to be Tiger Woods will have re-inspired Phil. And Phil's talked positively at all the majors, played some pretty good golf at majors. I think Tiger will revitalize him. He's going to want a major before he gives it up because of what Tiger was able to do. Now, Phil's older, so that's tougher too.
Here's my worry about Phil.
But I think he can do it. He's got the game to do it if it all comes together. And that's a lot. All comes together at the right time. I think he's got that shot. But he won't be able to stay there every week.
Here's my thing about Phil. Actually, he's gone to bigger measures than Tiger to try to find a way to win out here. I mean, you got to remember, they were talking about this today. He played with Persimmon Woods in high school. So he's gone through probably the biggest change, him and Tiger, biggest changes in golf history, and had to learn how to develop. Well, the biggest thing for Phil is he's focused on distance, and he believes that's the key to winning, and he lost a ton of weight. He's all about hitting it far, hitting it far, hitting it far. I think the greatest thing Tiger did was he went back to the keys to golf, which is your short game. And that's how Tiger's come back and win, is really his putting, his wedge play. He didn't try to hit it far. He actually doesn't hit it. He actually hits it shorter than he used to.
Yeah.
Phil's actually gone the opposite way, which has made him more chaotic. And honestly, his short game numbers are not there. I say Phil does not win again. He does not get in the top 50 of the world. And I think this is officially the Phil we're going to see going forward. Some good events, might get close. Hopefully he can squeak out one time. But I think this is really the end of the run for Phil, and I say he retires at 50. He's 47 right now.
Well, you just keep that 40-pounder of rum ready for me when he wins a major, because I think he's going to do it. All right, we did two subjects there. So Rory trying to create a rivalry with Brooks. This is really, really funny.
Well, I'm switching the topic. We covered Brooks obviously going after Rory, but now Rory's kind of come out and said, world number one's my thing and major's my thing after this win. So now I'm flipping and going, now is Rory trying to really create this and make it more powerful after downplaying it? I'm going to go with yes. I think Rory didn't want to do anything until he won. And now that he's won, he's now going to go back.
Early in the season.
Right. So, he downplayed when Brooks said there's no rivalry and he kind of agreed with him. Now I think with Rory winning, now he's trying to make it a big deal like people tried to do in the first place. And the reason why I brought this up, I just think it's interesting how guys talk after a win versus trying to downplay it just in case they don't win. So, I think it's something to look forward to.
Well, I think, Rory's great for the game. He's the guy who's out front. I think it's important that he wins. I think it's good that he's going to focus on winning some majors. And we'd love to see him do that. I think Rory is bigger than the game, actually. He's at that stage. I put Rory, if he can win a couple majors, in a Tiger class. I mean, he's really that much better than the rest of the field. He hits it way further than everybody. I mean, you know what it's like. You're a golfer on a size challenge body, right. And we see guys sometimes drive by you and go, how can that even be? But there's guys on the tour who are 50 yards behind Rory, and that's more like junior golf. When some kid's like a real big kid, he hits a 50 yards back. So Rory has the skills to do what others cannot do. That's what Tiger always had. Now Rory has not established this intimidation factor, this, winning when he's ahead of 54, he automatically wins. When he's ahead of 36, automatically wins like it used to be for Tiger. I think this is Rory's year. I think it's a possibility.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, I definitely would like to see a rivalry. I think they're good for all sports. It's going to be interesting. I mean, really what it's going to come down to is Rory stepping up in the major. We know Brooks is going to try to find a way, and he will. He'll sacrifice many, many tournaments to get ready. Rory's been this guy who now wanted to win World Golf Championships, win every country's open sort of thing. Now maybe he's refocusing, but I think he's definitely, after the comments Brooks made, he downplayed it, and everyone else said he's not even close because of the major things. Rory wins, and now I think he's seen the importance of it and trying to create it himself. So we'll see. Rory's going to win some majors to get Brooks' attention for sure.
But I think we might see a 5-win season out of Rory this year.
Oh, he's already got one.
He's playing so well, and at the end of last year, he played really well. Obviously, he played really well. But I think to get this early start, he could have a lot of wins this year.
I mean, he could have 3 wins by the time Brooks even comes back healthy.
Well, exactly. So it's going to be interesting to see that. So, the topic we got here is the health of the top players, and are we worried about that health?
Yeah, we'll do this quick because we kind of covered it a couple times. But basically, I brought this up. Is this a trend? Obviously, we've talked about this before, and, it's the workout thing again, and now guys not being healthy. Who can maybe sneak into a spot that is just going to be healthy and play lots of golf tournaments will be something to watch out for. Is this now the rise of speed? Because all these other guys are getting injured. He's the one guy that might benefit from the top guys maybe not being 100% going into the tournaments. and start a bit of a comeback.
And do these guys start doing what Dustin says? He only hits it at 70% of what he could hit a driver to keep it in play and keep his body in shape. And even he's hurt right now. But our player's going to back off the distance a little bit to keep those bodies in shape. And you know what? It costs them a lot of money because we get that they have sponsors and we get that the top guys have got $80 million contracts or whatever. But a lot of guys in the middle make $2-3 million a year and suffering injuries the same way. And these guys have got to keep playing. This is how they make their living.
We read a story about a guy named Joel Dam, I think of a couple other golfers that don't hit it far but healthy and make good money because they play a lot.
$2 million last year.
The top guys have gone for win or bust, and that's fine too. But it's just like you gotta be a little bit worried about the top of the game of golf right now. You gotta hope that guys that don't get injured like Spieth and Rory can stay there because I am truly worried about a downfall on a couple of these golfers because at what point does your body say no? Now Thomas is a lot younger, but DJ's up at 34 years old now. Brooks, he's had 2 injuries now, a wrist and a knee. I know he's great, but when does the body caught up Tiger at some point?
Yeah, and he was off 3 months the last time. Hope that's not the case this time, but it is a concern I think to the game of golf. Brendan Todd then fell outside top 2,000 in the world and came back to win.
Yeah,
I didn't even read this one. Top 2,000 in the world.
It just happened.
Holy smokes!
Like he lost his card.
I think he'd be with you at that point.
Well, he lost like web.com status. Like he lost everything. He was actually back on Mackenzie Tour level, Latin America Tour level, mini tours. Then he went back to Mondays, and he just won this weekend in the off-week event on the PGA Tour, where that gets him full status.
Wow.
So I remember Brendan Todd in 2014.
I remember him too. That's why I was amazed by that story.
In 2014, he won the Byron Nelson pretty easily, and it was an interesting story. One of the guys on the Golf Channel played golf with him, and he was telling him how easy life is and how good he is, and that he's at a stage where he thinks he'll never not be on the PGA Tour. Like he's at this stage. Then he started shanking it. Couldn't hit greens from 150 yards. Many guys quit off. There's actually a guy on the Golf Channel said he quit because this happened to him. He won it, had quit during the Golf Channel. Brendan Todd said that wasn't an option for him, but after shanks and missed hits and thins and not being able to hit the greens, battles all the way back, literally from nowhere to win this past weekend. Good for him. What this reminds us of is athletes are one swing away from your confidence, especially in golf, really from taking you off what good life you have. And it's more than just the PGA Tour. It's more than just being on TV. It's a lifestyle. It's a life. And his life, I can't imagine what he went through to be at one point coming home to his family going, I got to win. I got 3 years on tour. Let's relax a little bit to not making money, to being off all these tours, to not being able to hit a golf shot, probably thinking about quitting, to come back and win the other day.
The one thing we do know, we see a number of these comebacks, not that dramatic, but pedigree is always pedigree. It's there. And so it doesn't take a lot to get back. It's getting over that anxiety. It's getting back to being positive about your game. Once it returns, it's shocking. I mean, we look at Tiger. Tiger just won 2 major events the last 2 years. It was only 3 years ago. He was chili dipping wedges at the side of the green.
Right.
Even the greatest golfer to ever play the game, confidence is still everything. And once they get it back, the pedigree comes back.
But
and
the
that's what's
difference
happened with Brendan Todd, which is great.
Is a guy like Brendan Todd, like the guy on the Golf Channel, you were never Tiger Woods to begin with.
Of course not. No.
So like he said, it's amazing he actually stuck with it because a lot of us then go get jobs because we think, man, there's no way to come back. It took so much just to get there in the first place. So shout out to him. Great win this week. Got his life back in order. But guys, it tells you can come back from anything. You can be on top, go down, come back. More importantly, how much can you improve? Everyone can improve. I can improve. He improved, went from shanking to winning. So
here's one thing at golf: a win brings everything back to you.
Golf is all this
exemptions, money, all that in one win. And you can come from. There was a guy in the tour last year, and I'm forgetting his name now. Missed 7 cuts, walked in and won an event. His whole life just changed, right? And you would have thought over those 7 weeks, you wouldn't have thought this guy was ever going to even get close.
So golf,
that's the thing with golf. You have 1 week where it all comes together, right? And that confidence starts to come. Let's talk about confidence. Does this international team ever win the President's Cup? Is this President's Cup even worthwhile? You tell me all the time they get great TV and everything out of it, but this is a crap. This is I don't want to say shit show on the air, but I just did. It's a waste of time.
My one defense is they've been good in international countries. So, I mean, the international team will tell you they only lost by half a point in Korea. The year before, in international countries, they lost by a point. So when they're not in America, it's actually kind of competitive. I will give them that credit, and that's why they keep it going. In America, it's very tough. A lot of these guys feel overwhelmed, and quite honestly, a lot of the Koreans said, like, they were in shell shock at what was said at them, and
Yeah.
they're not used to it. So, when they play in America, it is obviously what you said, show. It's bad. I mean, the Americans destroy them. But I will admit, does internationals have any chance? My thing is yes, only because obviously golfers from all over the world are getting better, and when they're in one of these countries, they do at least have a bit of more of an advantage than when they play in the States. I think the biggest thing here, though, is finding strategists. When we've heard Ernie Els talk about maybe get more Australians on the team just to create a home team environment. Really maybe have an equal number. Maybe it's 4 Australians, 4 South Africans, 4 Canadians, 4 Koreans, just so you have teams of 2 that can work well together and are friends.
Kind of like the World Cup, right? Where countries go and play in the World Cup. And I remember our Canadians when Dave Barr and I forget the other guy won a World Cup because they just knew each other, got into a bit of a rhythm, and they're able to do that. So at least twosomes. I think every country should have twosomes that play together. Home country having maybe 4 in there. Here's why I think they can win this time. The season ended at the end of August, technically, of the real important events. This is happening in December. Quite frankly, I don't think the Americans care about the President's Cup. They play because the PGA tells them to. I think this off time here might be a good time because a lot of these guys aren't going to play from now to the President's Cup. For the international team who wants it more, this is kind of like Olympic events and stuff like that, where one country wants it more than the other country and they can come up with these upsets. I think got a real shot. Again, an international country, which is great. The Americans got to travel to get there.
Australia,
It's a big deal to go there.
Well,
I think that the international team would be more ready.
So first of all, I do think they have a chance. You do too. So that's obviously answers the question. One quick thing I think Ernie Els should look at is going younger. I love Adam Scott as much as the next guy, but he doesn't need to be on the team.
Yeah.
Cameron Smith needs to be on this team, the young Aussie. Get some fresh young blood that doesn't give a crap about the Americans and stuff like that. I think that'd be beneficial to them. Besides Jason Day, who battles injuries, Adam Scott, who has putting yips. I mean, get someone else, some young guys in there, even if they're not the same level of the world. I think they just provide more value to the team just from energy. But anyways,
and they don't have any.
They got
history.
They got a chance. Yeah.
It's nice that guys don't have history.
They have no
losing,
memory,
right? So they're out there with nothing to lose, which is great way to play. And they don't have that. They don't have that issue. Joey, the last subject here on our golf site is what's the seniors tour going to look like? This is a great subject because there's a lot of stars getting there that have been big to the game. Even the guys that are on tour, Champions Tour today, were not massive to the game. They were middle of the road players. Little good careers. Everybody would be happy to have them. But we got Phil and Tiger coming, 2 of the greatest to ever play.
Well, the biggest question about this is the trickle-down effect of the injury topics we've covered so far. And really, that's my point right here. Phil won't play. Tiger won't play. So can we create another star on the Seniors Tour? And it's going to have to be someone in the middle of the road, just like Freddie Couples was actually, believe it or not, only had 8 wins on the PGA Tour. You're going to need someone like that. So right now you got Steve Stricker out there that's looking good. I'm thinking into the future. Look at everyone who's 30. Tell me one guy that'd be interested right now that we know a name of that would play on there. Not many guys right now. First of all, they're battling injuries like we've talked about before, but the want to play that long isn't there anymore. And we talk about the money effect in golf all the time, about winning majors, dedicating their lives to it. Not many people do it. Well, how many guys are now really going to want to continue to play past the age of 50 on the Seniors Tour? And that's my biggest fear right now. I'm going to say, if you look at the top 20 in the world, I don't think one guy would teed up in a Seniors Tour.
Well, most of those guys aren't in their 40s to start with, so they've got a long time to get there.
I know, but that's my fear.
But here's what I'm going to tell you. I'm going to tell you this. Jack Nicklaus, who supported and started, along with Gary Player and Arnold Palmer, the Seniors Tour in the beginning, is going to go to Phil and Tiger. They will play Champions Tour majors. I guarantee you Jack is going to get, if he doesn't die before then.
I was going to say, if he dies, I think they have a tough time.
That's a tough time, but if he can
anyway.
get in there, I think he's going to show the importance of them to the Champions Tour. There's been a long time since greats have played on the Champions Tour, and I think he would push them to at least play the majors. I think you'll see that, and why they play on the PGA Tour, obviously, if they don't retire in the meantime. Yeah. But I believe you will get them for those events because I believe Jack would get involved if he's still here and make that happen.
Well, real quick, it is the last topic of the PGA section, but I will say this, I think you're more looking towards an Ernie Els, a Retief Goosen, a Steve Stricker, and Vijay Singh. You're looking at that era, those quality of guys building something on the Seniors Tour. They can do it because Bernhard Langer and Freddie Couples have been able to do it. But Tiger and Phil, the one thing, it's not about dedication to the game of golf or growing. It's their bodies, especially Tiger. Tiger would probably have to say, I can't even take enough drugs to care enough to go play. Unfortunately, what I think you'd see more is Phil and Tiger hosting an event, being there,
Yeah.
kind of running an
I
event in
think
their own
that-
town.
I
But I
think
think
they-
you're more looking at
I think they can
Retief
get ready
Goosen,
for the
Ernie Els, Mike Weir. Those are the only people that are going to play.
until those guys get there. I think
They're
Phil.
not going to play.
I think
Phil and Tiger
Phil
not
will
tee
play
up.
majors. Will play majors on the Champions Tour without a doubt, because he's not going to be successful in the PGA Tour anymore. He's going to come in, play the majors on the PGA, play the majors on the Champions Tour, play events that help him get ready for those. Let's face facts. These guys play short distances. Phil still hits at a mile. Phil can destroy the
They
golf
will not
courses
put
there.
their
So
body out
we'll
there
see what
for
happens.
senior
I
stuff.
think on this one, I'll be getting another 40-pounder rum. So
I doubt it.
there we go. But Jack's going to stay alive enough to put the guilt
He
in
won't,
him.
because
So-
they're going to play till...
We're
Phil
gonna
could
see
play
that.
the 55 PGA Tour because of all the exemptions they get. That's why these top guys don't need to go there. They
Yeah,
actually
yeah.
get more exemptions. They won't play. I don't think you'll
We'll
see
see.
Tiger or Phil tee up one time on the senior.
Well, we'll see what happens. Hey, that's the PGA Show Top 10 for this week. We'll be coming back with the other shows. We look forward to chatting about the NFL.